Spoiler alert, I didn't mind you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 18 of the Cali Brick Clique. I got the usual suspects, Claire and Shy. And this time we got a special guest, Kevin. Some say Aloysius, but we know the A stands for artist. Hinkle.
They dragged me out. They dragged me out.
We got him out of the cave, guys.
Yep. I'm alive. Hello.
And so before we get into it, as you all know, this can be found on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on. Go ahead and download that. And next week is going to be on Claire's channel.
Good job.
Boom.
We all did it. And all three of us have done it.
I felt obligated to get it right this time. So, but other than that, how you guys been doing this week?
I'm tired, as always.
Yes, I feel like that's your usual response.
It is.
Yeah.
I had 9 days of work before I had a day off. That's some real BS.
That's a lot. I'm sorry. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm not giving. I was in Miami for a week, Orlando and Miami, which was it was fun. But I don't think I'm moving to Miami, which I thought was the plan for a while. So
ooh, hot take. Hot take. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. So in case anyone here has not been paying attention to any of the episodes or following Claire, she's been pretty much projecting that she was going to move to Florida. And now all of a sudden, no. Is it the humidity? Is it Ryan? It's Ryan, huh?
It's definitely Ryan. Yeah,
Ryan.
It's Ryan.
Okay.
His palette of cheese pizza and sauceless pasta just got to me. No, honestly, it's it just wasn't the right fit. I need to be in a big metropolis for whatever work that I need to do, plus, for my personal interests. And then Miami is really kind of the only choice for that. So maybe later in life, a more quiet area.
When you're like 86?
Yeah, I have no idea. It was kind of weird. Like Miami, first of all, the food is incredible there. Let's just start out with that. It's like awesome. It's got like a lot of, it's multicultural in every way that I love. And also it doesn't function like the US in all the bad ways as well. So, it definitely is it reminded me a lot of Sao Paulo, which is like where most of my family lives. So it was really interesting, which I appreciated that, it had all the things that I loved about it. And the second I stopped thinking about, am I going to move here? Is this somewhere I'd like to live? I started enjoying myself a lot more, which made me kind of realize it's probably not the right place. And I've done that with like a lot of cities, like New York. Every time I'm there, I'm like, I could live here, I could do that. But Miami's not for me. Like, honestly, driving was like really terrifying. It's not like driving in the US. It's crazy. Everyone drives really fast and they have really big cars and really expensive cars, and it's kind of crazy. So
at least you tried it out before you just moved out there.
That was the point. It was like kind of like go for a week, maybe go for another week later in the summer when it's like brutally hot, go even a third time, and then like rent a place for 3 months, and then rent a place for a year, and then buy a place. That was going to be kind of like the order of operations, but that's kind of been nixed, and now it's kind of reevaluating California and maybe looking at some other places. So
come down to LA.
Yeah. I've definitely thought about LA right now. After I was in LA just a few weeks ago, it's gotten pretty bad. Like the homeless situation there.
It's horrible.
It's worse than here in San Francisco. So yeah.
I saw an article about some federal I don't know if it's real or not. I didn't background check it or check the sources, but someone said that like a federal judge said that we have to house every single homeless person by this date.
Fake
in
news.
LA?
No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I have no idea how that's going to happen.
So they started like a bunch of programs. So you know how like a lot of the hotels have been empty because of COVID and stuff. So I know that in California, they ended up doing, I can't remember what the name of the project was, but they basically gave hotel rooms to homeless people.
I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, and in a lot of them, not all of them, but in a lot of them, they were trashed to the point that the state had to pay to repair the hotel. And then in some of them, they actually were properly, given people homes and stuff. There's a lot of like tiny house projects as well in the area. People will go in and build shelters and stuff like that. So there's just such a mass quantity that I don't think that
so check it. I just kind of pulled this number up. So for 2021 to 2022 budget in California, $1.75 billion for proposals related to homelessness. Do you really think, like, a piece of me thinks like this might just be an industry at this point? Because $1.75 billion to house homeless people, and how many homeless people are here in California?
I don't know. It's not. I mean, that's a lot of money, but
but $1.75 billion. You are now an industry complex.
I don't know. A multifamily housing project of like 100 units, like $100 million, let's say.
But that's San Francisco for like a nice ass bougie.
No, it's not. It's $126 million is a budget for a high end one for like 100, let's say like 100 units. Yeah, that's
so like Section 8 type housing.
Section 8 type housing would probably be like maybe like 100 million for 200 units or something like that. Maybe a little bit more.
So it is an industry because now there's money going around that people are that have to build all this stuff.
Yeah, but like people don't make it takes the same amount of work to do that stuff, and someone has to be paid for it. So
that's what I'm saying. Like someone is benefiting from the money coming from taxpayers to be able to do all this.
I wouldn't look at it like that. I would look at it like we have a mental health crisis in the US.
That's a key issue. You blame the 80s for that, for shutting down all the all the mental facilities.
Yeah, and we don't have the infrastructure set up for people dealing with drug addiction, PTSD, bipolar disorder, like a ton of different mental health issues. So
just an easy glide into today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, check it out. On a lighter note,
very lighthearted.
On a lighter note, Claire, you might like to hear this. On a lighter note,
not coming back.
I think last week, the first female platoon graduated from San Diego boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp.
That's exciting.
Yeah, well, it should be because before, like, all the women got sent to like Parris Island, North Carolina, or South Carolina.
I didn't know that. Okay.
It's flat. So when they do the crucible, it's flat. And pretty much a lot of men like to talk crap saying, well, if you come to California and go to the West Coast, you're not going to make it up those hills because it's crazy. And
is it flat, but is it like at a different elevation while in
California?
Swampy.
It's humid.
Yeah, and it's humid. While in California, it's probably at sea level, even though it's hilly. So
yeah, but you're still walking up a damn mountain. So at the end of it, but like either way, the training didn't. Supposedly, the standards weren't dropped, and they had to keep up the whole time, and they passed with flying colors. So just to let you know,
they earned it.
Yeah. So yeah, women can do it. Woo!
Of course, that's great. Absolutely. No, that's awesome.
That's a lighter note.
That was. Sorry about that. No, it's hard. So it's hard not to talk about that stuff, like for moving and transitions in life and making those kinds of decisions as to like, where do you want to have a family? Where do you want to have a job? Where do you want to, like how do you make these kind of bigger decisions in your life without reflecting on your surroundings and the people that you care about? And a lot of times there are tough questions and tough issues that come up.
That's fascinating to me, and I don't disagree by any means. But I mean, through my life, I was born in Texas. I was born in Austin, Texas, and I moved to Denver, Colorado for college. So it's like that's where I'm going. That's where the art school that I want to go to. And pretty much every move I've done from that hasn't necessarily been thought out at all. It's like, because it was, every move since then has been employer pushed. So it's like, well, if you want to keep working here and you want to keep moving up the ladder, you're going to go here. And so then Colorado turned into Arizona. Arizona turned back into Texas. Texas turned into Connecticut. And that's where I've landed here. And it's always kind of been a haphazard, like, well, this is where we're going. And then all the thorough research, it's just thrown out the window. I think like when I first moved to Connecticut in 2011, I hadn't even got to tour the apartment complex. I just signed everything over the phone, emailed, and I said, we're moving.
That's it.
And then we showed up, and literally the first time I walked into the place we were living, I was like, well, okay, this is where we live now.
I think that's how most people. Yeah, I think that's how most people are. Like, this is the first time in my life that I'm not making a decision like that. You know, like especially when you get into college, you like, or whatever, you like, your parents make your decision for you until like, and if you go to college or wherever, you know, like that was decided, and then it was, I needed a job, so I went internationally because at the time there were no jobs, and then grad school, and then it was for a boyfriend, you know what I mean? It was always like, and then my mom got sick, so I moved home. That's why I'm here. I'm home because of that. And then like now it's been time since then, so it's like, okay, well, with COVID, a lot of these companies are letting you work remotely, or they realize that like remote work can still happen and people can still be productive, so there's like more flexibility. And then if you're transitioning into like a different phase in your life, you know, and you're gonna have other people involved, it's kind of like, how do I guess it's maybe it's like a privilege to have to be able to choose like where you want to live, you know?
And
I mean, I think it's great, and
it adds a lot too if you have like a family, you have kids and stuff.
Those are very, especially if your significant other has another job, another career that they're tied to. School districts, safety, all that stuff, family.
That I kept thinking about over the course of the last year was how many businesses, companies, you know, whatever industries that were so hard-lined with this job absolutely under no conditions can be done remotely. You must move here. You must do this.
That my job was like that. Yeah.
And surprise, surprise,
right?
It can be done remotely. And it's just, you know, I think about my time in you know, corporate America and how many really amazing, talented people were not willing to move to Farmer Brown here in Connecticut because they were like, well, can I do this job from New York City? Can I do it from Los Angeles? And, you know, no, the job absolutely cannot be done remotely. And it's like, well,
have you tried it before though?
I mean, like the industry around remote work, you know, not only has it boomed, but it has existed for a while. Like things like Slack, and even, you know, Microsoft has completely changed, you know, like Zoom. I mean, so much stuff gets done. For me, I was more productive from home than I was in the office because I was managing and training people. And so people that really wanted to learn when we were remote reached out. And then they chose when to reach out. They did research on their own, and then they, you know, made a conscious decision as to so it wasn't as many interruptions throughout the day. That was the smaller end. And then I would sit in tons and tons of meetings. And if anything, my meeting count actually went up. But instead of sitting at a round table with 25 people, you know, looking at each other and sitting on our thumbs, I was actually doing other work at the same time because, you know, some of us can multitask and we don't need to just like sit and look at each other. So I was able, like all the production work that I was still doing, that I would start at like 5 p.m. usually, I was able to start at 9 a.m. normally and be done. But to be fair, the boundaries are much harder when you're working from home, and you can like keep going and going and going. So not to, but yeah, true. Anyway, yeah.
That's
so
true.
Yeah. That is, is that kind of like a segue into what the main topic? Because I know
that's what I was trying to do.
We started very heavy.
I thought we were already in the topic.
Yeah, we kind of did. I was just thrown off. The intro is super heavy, so I was like, "What?"
It was a little heavy.
Yeah, mental health crisis in the United States.
We dropped a sledgehammer right in the beginnings.
That's when I just slowly back out of the shot.
Welcome to Cali Brick Clique, guys.
But yeah, I do kind of want to talk about like the transition of, because I know now after all that you do your own art and stuff right now.
I try.
And I mean, you're doing fairly well. I think, you know, you got a nice waiting list, like you said.
Yeah. I pump out content, that's for sure.
That part too, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, in any way that is entailed.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it's definitely, well, to take a step back, you know, just in case, You have no idea who I am.
That no, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Who is that stranger? So yeah. So
yeah, exactly.
My name is Kevin. Online, I go by MrHinkleDraws. Hinkle's my last name. I had somebody the other day go like, "I really like your username." Like, it is really just my name. It's nothing else.
Simple.
Yeah, but yes, MrHinkleDraws, and I have been an artist pretty much my entire life. I have tried to be a self-sustaining, whatever that means, artist my entire life. I've done a heck of a lot of failing up until very recently. And yeah, this current path that I'm on was very much forced upon me very suddenly. But I have, through many times throughout my life, tried to make a concentrated effort, whether that's just working for myself as a freelancer or working somewhere else as a concept artist or whatever other role. And it's never worked. It's just never worked. It's never, at least never been anything that I could live off of or support anybody else off of up until now. And something else that I've done a lot of reflecting on is I think I'm fairly confident the only reason it works or is in the process of working now is because of how many years I spent specifically in the Lego community and what I was doing on behalf of the Lego company as an employee. I built an incredibly vast network that I never had before. And so I think about, getting out of college. I'm an artist. Everyone's going to want to hire me. Everybody. Commissions are open. And it's like,
crickets.
They're still open. and I mean, when I, hit the ground or forcibly hit the ground running in 2018, and I said, okay, I'm working for myself. I'm a freelance artist. Commissions are open. All right, let me start doing stuff because nobody's going to ask me to do anything. Like I was dead set that nobody was going to ask me to make anything for them. So I said, all right, I threw that out and I'm going to start working on posters and stuff. And the first week I had 8 commissions and I'm like, okay, this didn't happen last time. And it has stayed steady since then. I sit on a waiting list of 50 people at any given time.
I'm number what right now?
He is 50 plus. He's a plus right now.
Plus. This will be my 3rd commission from you though.
Right.
Technically.
Right.
So.
And I enjoyed the other ones that I did for you too. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Especially the motorcycle. I'm like, this is different. All right. I got to do somebody. They're way down on the list, but they wanted me to draw their car, and I'm like, that is not something I do either. So that'll be interesting. Okay. But yeah, it's because of that network and the people there that the connections has made a tremendous difference.
Also, I got to say the artwork speaks for itself. Also.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
People see it.
It's like, I hope you like this. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've done this my whole life. As soon as I started drawing on the walls when I was 3, from what my parents tell me, I have always studied art. I was the kid that took the extracurricular art classes, at the rec center during the summer. Then when I went into high school, I specifically went to a high school that was also a fine arts academy. So I was doing life drawing in high school, which is not something you normally do. There was no new models. I was not 18 years old.
Oh, I was going to ask. I was going to say that was my favorite class in undergrad for sure, but also hilarity ensued. But we were 19 at the time. I can only imagine being 15 or 16.
Yes. And I mean, what's interesting is that even getting into the world of life drawing and figure drawing and then going to college and you're like, they're all naked now. But yes, in high school, all 4 years of high school, I was my schedule was packed with art classes. And so and then I went to art school. I have a bachelor's degree in 2D animation, but I also studied illustration and graphic design. A lot of my stuff is very graphic heavy. So, a lot of bold lines, a lot of, I love branding. I'm all about designing logos and stuff for people. I enjoy that. But yeah, I'm glad people like it. Obviously I could draw and make whatever I want, but if it doesn't, there's something to be said about making what you like and you enjoy and you share it. But also I've got kids, I need to provide. So it's like, exactly. I need people to buy the stuff I make and enjoy it enough to hire me to make more of it. And that's in terms of, the question of recalibrating and kind of readjusting your life. There is no better motivator than kids that need to eat. That is going to be the motivator, because you can always just, I guess I don't need to eat today. You're not going to tell little Timmy, it's like, sorry,
right?
You're not eating. So yeah, providing for, a spouse and kids, that's a huge motivator to just roll up the sleeves and do what you need to do.
For sure. Definitely. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty out there.
Yeah.
But, oh crap. And I feel like
I just had an idea.
Sorry, my wife is texting you right now. She's like, "What do you want for dinner?"
See, look. Speaking of spouses,
yeah, yep, absolutely.
But I feel like that's a good topic because since last year, I'm sure a lot of people have definitely had to recalibrate.
Yeah,
their situations. Honestly, I had to myself. So.
I was just sorry not to interrupt you. I was just thinking one of the articles that made the rounds on the internet, peak pandemic lockdown, was some article that some magazine had done about what are the most essential and least essential professions.
Wow.
You're just based on everything that was going on. They're like, well, here's the things that society doesn't necessarily need. The number one least necessary job was artist.
Oh man.
It was the number one. And it was funny because of course the comments, and this was floating all over social media and stuff. I don't remember what magazine did it, but it wasn't a unknown magazine. It was, I think, Time or something. But people were like, I like how the artist that made the graphic to explain this is not needed. Because, it had the nice, graphic,
infographic and everything.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, I don't know how I feel. And yeah, there was so much roasting going on. It's like an artist designed this platform you use to post this. It's just I'm going to just sit here and watch this unfold. But I was like, oh, interesting. And I think number 2 was call center employee or something. It's artist call center employee. And I was like, all right.
Oh, good to know.
That's super essential during the situation.
Yeah, everybody debated all of them. But it was the top 10 most essential and the least 10 essential jobs.
Well, I guess are you saving lives? Okay, fine. No. But honestly, that actually helps me a lot. I love asking myself that all the time whenever I'm really stressed out, especially if I'm working and it's it's a deadline or something. I'm like, wait a second, do lives depend on my job? The answer has always been no, especially because I don't have dependents as well. But quite literally, no, I'm not saving lives. So unfortunately, I think
but constructions and design of those buildings are very important.
Oh, I was technically an essential worker the entire time.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, because housing was essential.
That is essential.
Yeah, construction of housing developments was allowed to continue in every single city. So I was going, on job sites and everything. There was nothing. Other than I didn't want to go, so I went once a month instead of once a week like I used to. But I didn't want the COVID exposure. But yeah, no, we were essential workers the entire time, which kind of felt weird to be building high-end housing on an abandoned island was considered essential.
This is very important.
Yeah, multi-million-dollar condos is what's going to make it. I think that also, to go back to kind of our.
I just imagine Dr. Fauci in a White House meeting, how's the complex on the island?
Exactly. Quite literally. Nobody lives there. Nobody needs it. Yeah, exactly. Overpriced, condos in San Francisco. Who needs that? But that definitely kind of made me reevaluate what I'm doing and is it bringing me joy and purpose and there comes a point where even things that did used to do that, they don't anymore. Yes. Yeah.
I know how that feels.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's okay. And it doesn't, this is, I think, an issue that we have in the US where we like live to work and where our entire identities are tied to what we do. And I think that's a deficit to us. And I've said this before, that we are more than our jobs, and we are more than how we make our money. And if you ask anybody what are the most important things in their life, people usually say like the people around them and their family and the people they care for, and many times like what we do for a living takes away from that. So
I've been begging for days off like for the past 6 months, and I won't get it.
No, denied.
Like it's been like you mentioned it.
Where are you still?
Yeah, I'm a postman.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. Well, I'm a CCA, so I went to the post office because, well, one, a lot of people I had to figure it out after I was let go from that, and then pandemic happened, so there wasn't much opportunity out there for me to do anything based on my resume, unless I wanted to go heavy deep into something like with my degree, which I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't want to do that, so I went this way, and like I'm on the bottom of the totem pole technically. So until I become a regular, I'm on their I'm at their beckoning, which kind of it sucks. And like I like overwork myself when I don't need to, and a lot of regulars that are up there, they see how I am, and it is reassuring to know that my work ethic is still very strong, that people respect what I'm capable of and what I do, because in my sub office right now, I'm the only one that knows all 20 routes. So I am actually really essential to everybody's livelihood in that office. If someone has to call out, like, or someone's like, "Hey, Shy, where's this address?" And I'll be like, "Oh, it's here, blah, 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 blah."
Yeah.
I'm the one, since I'm not young, but I'm young in comparison to like all these, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds that are still delivering, still walking 14, 15 miles a day.
Right. And are you the newest one? Like
not anymore, but I'm still a CCA. But like I volunteer, like when we break up a route, I always volunteer to take the most out of it. So like, let's say somebody calls out and we have a route to split up. That means of this route that normally takes 6 hours, we're going to split it up between 3 or 4 people. And which is like, I'll take 2 hours from here, you take 2 hours from there, we'll take 2 hours from there. And I always volunteer to take the hardest part of that route. And I always volunteer to, even though I'm going to take this portion, if you have a 70-pound package, not on my 2-hour portion, I will take that and deliver it for you because I know you can't carry it. Like I do that all the time. And the carriers all take care of me. Sometimes they can see when I come in, and I'm in, like this past couple of days, like I came in like the past 3 days, it just exhausted and beat, because when I come home, I have my family, and my only day off, I shove everything that I need to do that I'm not capable of doing throughout the week. And I don't rest. Like I don't. So like I'm coming in exhausted, just kind of just sitting there. And then you can see the carriers are like, okay, we're going to split these 2 routes up. Shai's is going to take 4 hours. Well, on paper, he's taking 4 hours. He's only going to take 2. And we'll split it up. So they take care of me, and the supervisors don't know that it's happening to them. It's kind of biting me, because it looks like I still do it, but like they're taking care of me, but the supervisors are not, and I'm begging for days off. Like I've only requested time off 4 times since I've been there, and I've never gotten them. And I had to literally, how dare you? Yeah, and I literally begged for it. I'm like, hey, I'm getting the COVID vaccine today.
How dare you?
This is scheduled like 4 weeks ago. Like I requested it and I didn't get it, and I had to beg for it off. They're like, "Oh, well, you can come back." I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not." So like,
you can just deliver it while you're getting it.
So I know the benefits, and there's always light in the tunnel, and there are other things that I'm capable of doing. Once I become a regular, like you can literally, once I become a regular, there's all these jobs that will open up within the post office, but I just have to get through this like introduction. But like I'm looking at right now, my wife literally told me a week ago, she's like, "Can you quit?"
That's always a great sign.
It is, because right now I'm wasting a lot of money. Like if I drop off my kids at a babysitter, I'm paying that babysitter right before I get to work. And if they're keeping me into V time, which is double time, like I'm already working 12 hours, I got to pay that babysitter more than what I'm making.
Yeah.
So I'm only working for $3, $4, $5 an hour. sometimes 8.
See,
so I'm working really hard to make no money, and I'm not seeing any benefit from it. So I come home tired, and my family, like, they want everything that a father should be doing, and I'm not giving it 100%. I'm not, like, I'm putting all my energy here in a place where I'm not sure I want to be there. And
you're
like,
in that you're in that living to work phase, not working
exactly.
To live
and
thing.
I don't want to do that. Like, I didn't like what I was doing before.
Mhm.
Like, I knew I wanted to get out of it. That other company kind of said, and I'm like, okay, I guess this wasn't meant to be. I'm done. And then I try to find something out there, and like I still give them. I mean, I always give my 100% of everything I do, and like even now, it's just like, why am I working so hard? And all the carriers are telling me, like, hey, stop running. Like, just relax, calm down. Like, if it takes you 13 hours, 13 hours. I'm like, that's different for you. I got to pick up my kids. Like, I don't want to work 13 hours. I want to work 6 hours so I can pick them up. But that's biting me in the ass because the supervisors think I can do it in 6 hours.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the magic equation.
They take advantage.
Yeah, so they're taking advantage of my hard work. And like, every day I wake up, I'm like, should I call out? But then in my back of my mind, I'm like, if I call out, that means they got to break up my route into 3s or 4s. So other people have to pick up my slack. And that's what bothers me. Is that I'm creating problems for people. And I don't want to be that guy. I hate being that guy. Yeah. So now I'm at the point where I'm lost. Like, I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't know if I definitely don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. Like, I love film. That's literally what before I went to the Marine Corps, my original college applications were for film and business or film. I applied to all these schools. I got into some, but in the back of my mind, like, I want to go fight. I want to go to Iraq. I want to go slay bodies, as Marines say. And I did that instead. And then, realism hit my head when I started working for a corporate world. I'm like, hey, maybe I should get a degree in this. And then I tried to do law, and I'm like, I don't want to do this at all. And I fell into this spot where I became like a retail store manager for Urban Outfitters, and I made it really high without even trying, just being who I am. And then I was like making a ton of money being free, but I wasn't happy doing that. And now I'm at this point, like, I graduated high school in 2004. It's now 2022. We're about to hit our 10-year reunion. And I'm like,
and you have to recalibrate.
I'm like, wait, what am I going to say to all these people about what I'm doing with my life? So I'm like having like a third, I'm not really a quarter life crisis. It's like third life.
It sounds like a Friday or Thursday crisis.
Yeah. So like, what do I do? And I'm at that position, like, right now. I love doing this. I love making content. No matter what it is, I don't really care at this point. Like, I love being creative. It's literally what makes, like, what gives me joy. I love my motorcycle club. Unfortunately, that doesn't make me a ton of money, but like, I love what we do. I love being like that holds people together. I hate working for the man. I don't care at this point. I don't care about how much I'm getting paid. I don't care about the benefits that work behind it. And I'm just like, but reality checks. I have mouths to feed.
Yes, that part.
Yeah, you do.
See, so I feel like.
Have you, this is going to sound like such a ridiculous, privileged, like 1% thing to say. Have you thought about talking to a job coach?
I have, actually.
Okay.
I'm this close. So what's really going to happen, which I'm really contemplating doing, is this. I'm going to, for those of you that haven't watched some of my very intimate, deep topic videos where I discuss post-traumatic stress and things that happen to me in the Marine Corps, I see a psychiatrist, I see a counselor, I'm medicated for the things that happened to me in Iraq and Afghanistan. And since I've been working for the post office, I have not been able to see any of them.
Well, that's a big
issue. And everyone, but the thing is, I take medication for my mood, sleep, and things that deal with my nightmares and stuff like that.
That's like one part of it, though, right?
It is, but like, the things that it kind of bites me too, because I take a medication before I go into work, and I'm very positive, I'm very happy. Like, I don't like being a negative Nancy, like I say all the time. Like, I like being optimistic with what I do. That's just who I am. If you've been paying attention to me in any part of this platform, no matter with what type of career choice or whatever I'm doing, I try to be optimistic. I try to see the end of the tunnel. I don't like living in the present when it's like when I'm being beaten. You know, I like to say, okay, I just need to get through it and push forward. But like, I think that kind of bites me too, because I come to work happy and I bring people up and I like seeing people happy too. But like, ultimately deep down inside, it's killing me because I'm not getting seen. I'm not like talking to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't feel, I really don't feel appreciated by my supervisors. I feel like they're just taking advantage of me. I feel appreciated by my, not necessarily my peers, but the regulars. But like, I'm this close to just going to my psychiatrist and counselor and my primary care physician. I'm like, can you just write me a note saying that I can only work 5 days a week? Because I'm about to lose it. And lack of a better term, I don't want to go postal on these people.
Hey.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong, by the way, in getting that note. First of all, like it's not you know, the average person isn't supposed to be working the amount of hours that you're working right now. So, and it's okay to be the average person. There's nothing wrong with that. And then the thing about the job coach, which is like kind of interesting, is like you not knowing what you want to do, but like knowing what you like to do, I think helps a lot. And they're not psychologists. I have a friend who's one, but like, you know, I learned a lot about it through her, and I've had a lot of friends see them, and they're really interesting. They kind of help you kind of come to your own conclusion as to what you want to be working on and spending your free time doing, and giving you maybe some ideas as to how to pursue that. I think I know, more people that have spoken well about it. It's, you know, it's like not a therapist, like it's a bit different than that, you know?
Yeah. So we have this program. It's called, for the only veterans that can get, that have been, who are disabled like myself. It's called vocational rehab. So pretty much what it does is that it kind of finds needs in the workforce, which is which is a good reason why I didn't become a lawyer, is because after my junior year, as I'm going to my senior year in college, I go into the VA office. I'm like, hey, I want to use my voc rehab to get into law school. It's time for me to take my LSATs. I just want to make sure everything's in line so I can go forward with that. And they're like, there's no need. The unemployment rate for lawyers is like 7.32. Like, you can't do that. We won't pay for it. And I'm like, oh, you could have told me this a year ago, and I could have changed my path into engineering or something. Like, sorry. I'm like, okay. So I just kind of like that was a nail to the coffin with going to law. But I can use that still, and they can tell me what the workforce needs, which I can figure out. We already know. And they can push and they can pay for me to learn all that, pay for my living expenses. So I'm contemplating doing that. So that's in lieu of the work coach thing for veterans.
Oh, that's way better than that.
Yeah, because they'll pay if I can get myself into the school, they will pay for it and my living expenses and help me get a job afterwards.
The job coach would be different. The job coach would help you decide if that's what you want to do. Like if you want to go to school or if you want to, you know what I mean? Not that they wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like they would.
Yeah.
It's just making that decision, you know, and like.
So right now.
So
right now I'm kind of putting money in the bank. Even though I keep buying this crap behind me.
I was gonna say,
what's wrong with you? I mean, that's all right.
I know.
That's your problem right there.
I'm sorry, I'm addicted. I'm addicted. They got me. They're my drug dealer. I can't help it.
That's your problem.
I seen the stupid hole today.
You saw it, right? It's bad.
I saw that too. That was outrageous.
Okay, so sorry, Kevin. If I
you had a hole today.
Today.
If I waited 5 more days, the amount of money that I would have spent that you saw in that video would have increased by three.
I will
Shame.
dissect that 6 ways to Sunday, but we won't do that.
All right, so that's my spiel about where I'm at with my life, because I'm literally at a crossroads.
But you should totally take advantage of that opportunity that you have. Yeah. That sounds like it's there's no reason not to.
I know there is, but that's the thing though, is like it's a risk.
Yeah, well,
you gotta take
it's a huge risk, especially
you know what else? But you know what else is a risk is keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. And then you're not going to be present for your kids, and you're not going to be.
That's
you're not going to have clarity.
Is.
You're not going to be mentally there.
See,
that's what it is.
I mean, I feel you on the unappreciatedness, because that's kind of what happened to me. And when I got let go, I had the chance to go back, but I was like, do I want to go back into that? So I didn't, and now I've kind of been focusing on myself, and
That's good.
I like it. I mean, I have to go. Like I have, I wouldn't say like a side hustle. It's more like a part-time job right now. But I'm cool with that because I can focus on my art. Because before, like I was like Shy, I just put all my time into the company that just let me go, and they didn't care for they didn't care. So I felt like all that time was wasted. But now I can put that back into myself. So.
No, I mean that's something else that I've kind of come to realize through. I'm definitely not some ancient sage over here, but just, I've worked.
We also look up to you, Kevin.
Well, I don't know why, but I appreciate that. Thank you. But, the different companies I work for, minimum wage, corporate world, whatever, so many of them really, at the end of the day, push come to shove, they don't really care about you.
No, nobody's.
You're expendable.
Everybody's replaceable. Yeah.
It's like there's a few exceptions. Like I can see when it's like a family-owned business and maybe, like kind of, but for the most part, no, nobody's really going to appreciate the time you put into something or how many late hours you do or how above and beyond you go other than yourself. And unfortunately, you're not in charge of your raises. You're not in charge of your people reviews. You're not in charge of anything that matters except for continuing to work yourself to death.
Right. I remember my first job, I asked them for a raise and they're just like, they kept pushing back. Yeah. Like, what do you mean a raise? And I told them I was going to quit. They're like, we'd have to hire 2 people to do what you do. And I'm like, well,
that sounds like a business case for.
I was like, what do you mean? Do you guys hear what you're saying? But I mean, I was young and dumb then, but I just quit.
Weren't we all?
Right.
The average youngster that goes into a job interview will never argue for a higher pay.
No.
And the thing is, like, these kids don't know, and I was in that boat too, is that you'll never know if you never ask.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyone listening to right now, if you are going into a job and you don't like how much they're offering you, ask for more. Yeah. Worst case scenario, you take it or you don't.
If they say no, ask for different benefits, try to, and then also, but like, know your worth, know your value, know your time. Don't do things for free, especially at the beginning. No. Especially if you're in the artist world, that's really hard. Exposure, there is value to it, but no matter what what industry you're in, you can probably count on one hand the amount of people that are worth working for free in terms of the turnaround on that. And I would strongly recommend not doing that unless you're independently wealthy.
One of my favorite graphics of all time is a Oregon Trail, the old Oregon Trail, but it's like the covered wagon and a skeleton crawling, and it says freelancer died of exposure. And I'm like, yes, that's like, you can get it on shirts and stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely value, but it's like 1 out of 100. It's like, yep. Okay. Yeah. I can see that. But most people just want you to do it for free and take advantage of you.
And they'll take advantage, and you should know what you're worth. I know a lot of women have a lot of trouble like asking for raises, but hopefully that's going away. But it's definitely really daunting when you're like in a room and I think a lot of also like one-on-ones and reviews are set up like the seating is at your disadvantage. There's everything that it's all set up for you to be the weaker person in that situation. But anyway, this is job advice from Cali Brick Clique.
Ask for more money, guys.
Yeah.
You know what else? What else is really tough in any type of like creative, like, I mean, filming video, creating artwork or whatever. Yes, there's the folks that you don't know that slide into the DMs and they're like, yo, let me do this for me for exposure. But that's when it's that's a whole different conversation. Cause it's like, well, you're my cousin. Do it for free.
That's the worst. It's the worst.
I am literally going to make you mad, and I'm also going to have to see you. So this is going to be great.
You're going to have to wait 2 years?
I'm going to make you really upset, but when I see you at Thanksgiving, you better share the food with me. And yeah, that's been kind of awkward for me too, is having relatives, that are like, hey, can I get the family discount? I'm like, I don't think the grocery store gives me the family discount when I go buy the food. I mean, there's a little bit of wiggle room. I think you have to always have, but it's like for the most part, for me, it's a lot more challenging when like really close friends and family are like, "Hey, hook up."
Right, especially to think like you doing that takes time from you actually getting like the real stuff done.
Yep.
To pay the bills and stuff. So,
also, it means they're not listening. It means they're not aware. You know, it means, I don't know, maybe you haven't had the conversations with them, or you know what I mean, or been transparent, but it means that they're not empathetic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And family never is, and unfortunately, you can't get rid of them. Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's, I think, how do you feel now? You kind of mentioned earlier, Kevin, that like you're seeing this. I personally thought, not to offend you, that you were kind of glass half full or half empty at the beginning of this. But then when you mentioned how you articulated your success coming from all the negativity, that's a straight up glass half full. Because you're right. Like you've built a huge following because of your previous profession, and a huge, I know, lack of respect by them, but a huge amount of respect from everybody else, which personally I think is more important than them, because to them you're expendable.
Yeah,
but
your name
us,
means something. Your name means something. Yeah, for sure.
You're valuable to the communities, even though at the time of departure you didn't, you're kind of hurt, and we totally understand, but like
just focused.
Like it's good but it's good to know that you see that there is light, so that's very reassuring for someone like me who feels lost.
I think you and I are very, very similar in kind of being this never-ending source of optimism and going all in, right? Like if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. There's no point in just kind of, I'll do a little bit of it. Like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the job. I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to do it every time, and I'm going to do it with a smile on my face, whether you hate it or not, right? And, you're just not going to get very far if you're just always constantly dwelling on the bad and the negative. Like, I've never seen myself as a negative person or, glass is half empty. I mean, there's been some tough times and a lot of like really difficult moments, and a lot of, I think fear is probably the best word. A lot of just fear. Like, is this going to work or not? Is this going to pay off or not? Because a lot of starting your own business, regardless of what it is there's a lot of money involved. And that's like your goal. I need to make money, so why am I spending it?
Yeah.
But business cards don't magically appear. Promotional sticker. Registering yourself at a trade show. It's not, they don't just waive the cost. It's like there's a lot of investment. My first show ever that I tabled at as an artist, I didn't have anything. Like I had nothing. And so I had to create the prints, my own business cards, signage. I went into the show, everything involved $1,900 in the hole, right? I went into my first show and I made $200. So I was like, yes, this is it. I'm an artist. But obviously I'm not going to have to buy, scaffolding for my table every time. That's a one-time thing. But there's a lot of fear, I think, involved, and that's not going to go away. And it's not, it's not unique to you or anyone. Like, it's going to be scary. That's what it's going to be. Yeah. But you can get through it. You can follow your dreams. It's possible. It's possible. And I am incredibly lucky, very, very blessed to have people that do enjoy seeing what I do and seeing what I share and buy stuff from me. And going back to fear, obviously when I first dove into this, I was scared that I was like, well, nobody's going to hire me for any of this. So, and then I got through that. And then obviously more recently in the last couple of months, another huge bubble of fear in, 99% of my audience are quote unquote Lego fans. And I just announced I'm not doing Lego anymore. Right. Like that's a huge, and Patreon is another thing I use, and I rely on that. The day I announced it, I lost 5 patrons. So it's like, well, okay, that's 5 people that don't want to, and they have every right to. They have every right to say, I supported him because I like the Lego stuff he drew. But it's another thing, you just have to get through it.
Yeah.
And it's still something that I am still actively, getting through. I got a message the other day. I mean, basically, anytime I post any Lego inspired artwork, I always get oh, are you doing this again? It's like, no. No. I mean, I still share it. I'm still proud of it. And as we mentioned already, I'm still going through a backlog of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not accepting anything new at all. But every time.
I love the captions you put on those.
I'm not doing this, but look at this. Yeah, I have to because everybody hits me up. They hit me up. And that's been, and also just, fear of failing, but I mean, legitimate legal fear. I mean, that I have had the corporate muscle flex at me lots of times. And I have hired a lawyer and I have sat with an attorney and we have gone through all this, and that was money I don't get back.
I was about to say, and you have to pay for that.
Yeah. It's like, 30 minutes. All right. $300.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
That could have been me.
And that's scary too, right? I'm like, well, are you going to sue me out of existence now? Like, I'm sorry, I drew Pikachu.
You can have my $5 in the bank.
I guess I'll just go die. It's like the the old man meme. I'm like,
no, I just woke up. Keep going.
I guess I'll just
go. Oh my God.
I don't know if we could dive into this, but I do want to say it's weird to me because I see other people putting stickers that are like the same, but they don't get shut down. But
and I mean that's from my conversations with my attorney. It's very common. It's very, very, very common because every brand is going to leverage the time and the money that they have with their legal team and the PR and the press. Is it worth shutting down Billy versus Tommy? Yeah. And because it's not realistic to just be like, we have an endless sea of lawyers and we will shut everyone down all the time. But they do have to protect their brand and they have to prove that they're actively and consistently protecting it. Mm-hmm. But there's no legal requirement to just, be selective. Like, we don't like that guy today. Yeah. And I mean, that's the reason why you have folks, and I'm not trying to throw shade at all, but you've got folks like that are on the Lego Masters show. Their stores are filled with copyright infringement. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. And a company like Lego will never shut them down because that is huge positive PR buzz for them. Mm-hmm. These are TV stars, right? They went on a show and promoted their brand for an entire season. They're not going to stop them. They can slap Benny high-fiving them on the t-shirt and they can sell it. But, there's also people that have never sold anything, right? Like, I made my first t-shirt and it's the Octan logo and they're done because maybe that's the day that bot found them on the store.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
But there's a real human.
Say that one more time. You froze.
Oh, well, that was a really important thing I said.
Rewind 10 seconds. Yeah.
I won't say it again.
Yeah, no. Shy, he didn't freeze for me.
Yeah,
it was just you.
Was good too.
I think it's
you. No, but he froze on mine. So to be able to, when you record it.
Oh,
right? Got it.
No, whatever. Cut it out. Go ahead.
That's it.
Cut it. It was really what I just said.
My internet's been bad.
What I just said was really juicy.
Just in case.
Just know that.
But one of the other theories I've heard a lot is like, it's all just it's bots and they scrape all the and yes, there are bots that scrape these sites, but a bot can't report copyright infringement. It just collates these reports and gives it to the paralegals, and then they a human being has to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not just like one's automatically getting cease and desist. That's not how it works. But there's a human being on the other side. But yeah, I mean, it's just how it is. It just doesn't really change. But that's for me another fearful moment is, I am lucky to have a huge network and they've been really supportive. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, Kevin only draws Lego people. And personally, the other thing that kind of stings, I mean, I tried for those of you that have listened to the multiple podcasts I have out there about my whole career. You can listen and find it. I actively tried to create artwork for the Lego company 3 times, and I was never given that job. And obviously it's funny because now people like Fox reach out to me and try to hire me to do Lego inspired artwork. But so I never really, like, I don't get particularly super inspired drawing minifigures. Like, here's another minifigure. Here's another minifigure. Like I'm more about all this kind of stuff, but this is the stuff, you know, because of my audience, doesn't sell well, because it's like, you know, we like Lego, we want more Lego. And it's like, well, so it's another kind of like, it's just a reality. I have to break through it because of legal reasons and stuff. Like I'm caught between a rock and a hard place right now because I have a really awesome supportive audience. Most of them are Lego heads. I've got a company that's telling me legally you can't do this and we will shut you down. We've threatened you. I think I've lost count 20 times now. But you know, the numbers don't lie. You know, it's like I've got 65 stickers currently available for sale. I've got 4 prints, and people just want Benny. So it's like, you know, it's also continuing to network, continuing to promote my work and the other stuff I do. If you guys didn't know, I am just about at 2 years of posting every single day on every social media site.
Oh my God.
I post a piece of artwork every morning across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I post usually 3 videos or 2 videos and a live stream on my YouTube channel every single week for years.
I like the new thing you do. What is it?
Which one?
It reminds me of the of like guess that Pokemon back in the day.
Oh, the chat. That was and you're a patron. You didn't give me a shape. And I didn't give me a shape either. I didn't have no.
I'm always late to the Patreon stuff that I follow. I'm like always a week behind what's going on.
I appreciate that you guys give me money to begin with. It's funny. I like Nick from Brickhead Family and Ghost Freaking Talking. He always says, "Kevin, take my money and just don't look at me." I was like, okay.
Walk away.
But yeah, there's a lot of things I try to throw out to patrons saying, "Hey, look. Would you like to do this? Would you like to tell me what the next sticker I should make?" And
I mean, that's another cool business move.
Patreon?
Yeah. But just the fact you interact with them, with us.
Yeah.
And like ask for suggestions and stuff like for your stickers.
I use all of it. I use like all the input. Sometimes I don't necessarily use it in the way that folks thought I was going to use it, but I try to use everything. So, you know, for example, I did a thing for stickers. You know, I said, "Hey, is there a character you'd like to see made as a sticker?" And everybody that wanted to gave me a bunch of suggestions. I only made 1 sticker, right? That was Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda was a sticker that got made. But I ended up using all of the rest of the suggestions during October when I did the Inktober challenge where you draw a new piece of artwork. But I never said, by the way, I'm going to use it later. But I used everything people gave me, I made.
Yeah.
And same thing with like the live stream, the doodle stream. I was like, give me an idea and I'll draw it on the. And so I try to incorporate that stuff. And from a lot of my research, apparently a lot of artists navigate the dicey waters of copyright infringement through sites like Patreon, where they're like, well, you can support me on Patreon and I'll put all the fan art you would ever want to see on Patreon, but I can't sell it anywhere else. It's because you're not buying the fan art, you're buying you know, support from me.
Exactly. I've seen that before. Yeah, there's things that like I've thought about doing that you're like, okay, well, it's kind of like borderline, but then Patreon, that's what it is, and it kind of, and it should be that way. That's how you know, you're not really selling that stuff. They're just giving, you know, you're just on paper. I mean, legally you're handing it out for free.
Right. Yeah. Look at this. Now there's a new star. I'm out.
Sorry, she like woke up and doesn't want to be by herself, so she just kind of came in here.
Special.
That's fine.
Ezra's still knocked out.
Special guest Luna. Sorry, Kevin. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kevin. I'm out. It's been good.
So Luna, about recalibrating, you know.
Yes, tell us your thoughts on the crises plaguing society.
Exactly. Mental health crisis again. Here we go.
Give everybody a free toy.
Yeah.
Oh
no, his internet.
She's like, shut this down.
This has surprisingly never happened though, because the issue is that
she just kicked me out.
Okay, good.
That was how offensive that question was.
Look how happy she is.
She was just like, click. You're off the
ha, ha ha ha.
But I mean, I feel like we covered the topic pretty well. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Nah, that was pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
I feel rejuvenated now.
Oh, good. Good. I also have a master class. You can sign. No, I don't have a master class.
Sign up for the Patreons. Coming to no.
Yeah, exactly. We should put a link to that for sure down below.
Thank you. That'd be super cool.
Yeah. Almost left. Yeah, if you guys are following Mr.
Hinkle
Kevin
Draws.
Hinkle or Mr. HinkleDraws, definitely he's worth the person to support.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The mastermind behind the ninja face.
I post every day. every single day.
Mastermind behind my logos too.
That's true. Let's see. There's only one missing from this equation. So we do. I take commissions.
Go ahead, sign up.
Just go ahead. Business cards.
Promote yourself all you want.
Also, the stream. Yeah, go ahead and
boom. Yes. There you go. So I have a website, kevinahinkle.com, and I am actually, depending on when you guys air this, but I'm launching it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good.
At noon though, our time.
Okay, good. So my website is launching a store tomorrow.
Oh, awesome!
So I'm finally going to have my own shop. So that'll be really great. I've been relying on eBay and Etsy and all these other, and they're awesome too, but it's a little too easy for corporations to come in and go, nope. But it's already up. It's technically already live. I just haven't announced it. But there is a shop on my site. You can buy stickers. As I mentioned, I've got over 65 stickers, ranging from like spooky stuff, like Halloween kind of stuff, more mature,
18
to
plus content.
video game kind of stuff. I'd say most of my stickers are video game related.
Yes.
But I also do have an Etsy store if you want to check that out. I've got a lot of original artwork on there. Online, social media at MrHinkleDraws. I live stream every Friday. I am at 85 episodes of my weekly draw stream, and I take requests live. Mm-hmm. So sometimes sneaky people are like, can I commission you to draw like a giraffe? And I'm like, sorry, I have a waiting list. Like, can I ask you to draw a giraffe during your Friday stream? I'm like, if you want to.
If it's with the theme.
If it's with the theme. And I just recently, for the last couple of weeks, I have been putting all of the artwork during that stream. I posted up to Patreon so patrons can download it, and they can use it for whatever they want. So I had someone joke that they're going to start their own Etsy store called MrHinkleDraws. And they're going to sell I'm like, that's fine. You give me money every month. So that's what I mean. That's all right. But
I can't lie. I used one of your doodles for my Instagram photo. And it's still
I noticed. I know. It just is Miss Neverland. Is she's still the other half of it?
Yeah, she's still the other half. Yeah.
Because that was pretty funny that you have both the choker and the chokey.
That doodle.
There's some really good ones, and I have prints. So at the end of the year, I take everything I drew through the whole year, and there's not a lot of them left, but they're on my site. So if you wanted to buy one of the celebratory prints of everything that has been drawn live before your eyes.
Isn't that like the whole year right
cool.
there?
Yeah, so this is 2020. So this is everything through the course of the year that people have asked me to draw.
I'm in there somewhere.
That's so cool.
And I blew up some of the ones that I think are, really neat and wanted to show off. There's the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Hey, OSCAR.
Do you ever think about coming to like California to work for one of the like Disney?
No.
Or DreamWorks?
Nah. I would love to do concept work. So I studied animation and I decided I don't want to do that. would love to do concept work for any one of those companies. It'd be kind of cool. I'm still like right now where my mind is that I've really liked. I'm all in on this, and I'm trying to make it work, but I'm also not willing to do it forever, right? Like, I'm gonna be an artist forever, but like, I'm not willing to go to this degree. Kevin's not willing to like post on every social media site every day for the rest of his life. I'm trying to like build up enough momentum that I can be like, oh, it works. But I'm also willing to accept the fact that if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm like, all right, time to start throwing in resumes and applications in the creative fields and stuff. But like, back to punching the clock, which can be rewarding, but also just got to remember
we might see you here in California then.
You never know. You never know. I'm not opposed to. I would be fine with leaving Connecticut. That's fine.
You want to leave Enfield?
I'm good.
Can't you not order pizzas over there or something like that?
They just opened a pizza place down the street.
Oh, they did?
And
they finally opened a pizza spot.
It's not any type of chain, but it's good. It's actually good. And they offer delivery, and I'm like, yeah, but I could walk here. Like, this is you've defeated the purpose. But yeah, I'm in a very small place. Like, when you think of Connecticut, like, there's the whole shore, and there's like New York, the slice off that, and like, that's just New York. It's not Connecticut. I'm in the farmer area of Connecticut, where they're like, is that manure I smell?
Oh man.
Yes.
Oh,
must be that type of the season. And I've been stuck numerous times behind a farmer bouncing on a tractor with the and I'm like, why are we driving 5 miles an hour? And you can see like the heads of corn. I'm like, or the ears of corn. I'm like, oh no. And there's just too many cars to try to pass them all at the same time. Like,
I can't go around.
The other day I was actually stuck behind there's these like tractors that have like the giant wheels. Like they're like 15 feet tall, right? I think it goes over I don't know. But it looks kind of funny. Like, you look like you could just drive right under like an Inspector Gadget mobile or whatever. Like, I could just drive under that. But I was stuck underneath one of those and a regular tractor. And the other side had like a FedEx truck. And like there was no way to pass anything. I was just like, I'm just stuck. I'm just stuck behind everything. So it's not,
that's how we feel every day we drive here.
And we have multiple lanes. Like,
see, we're kindred spirits on the other side of the country.
Your stash would work well here.
Yeah, are you digging it?
I
love it.
I like it. I love
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen the Insta post. I was like,
yeah.
What?
By summer, you're going to be this very yoked guy with the most unique mustache, or the ironic mustache, as people say it. And it's going to like be perfect. It's perfect for Venice Beach. Come to Venice Beach.
Or was like, Mission in San Francisco.
They're like, Kevin, it's so hipster. They're like, aren't you from Texas? And I said, I'm from Austin, Texas.
There you go.
I'm from literally the only hipster town in the entire state. It's like, I love looking at like the electoral maps, and it's like Austin's this blue dot in the middle of this red state. It's just like, that's where I'm from. I'm from that little city. I want to
move to Austin. I've been trying to tell the wife, let's move to Austin for like the longest time.
It's like
it's a good balance.
Expensive to live there now.
Yeah.
Like my like family, for generations, I've had uncles and grandparents have to start moving out to suburbs because they can't afford to live in the place they've lived their entire life. So it's kind of weird, but it's great. It's a great place.
Is it more expensive than California?
No, not yet.
No,
it will be though.
But when Tesla opens up their gigafactory there, then it will be.
Maybe, but it's got to be like Tesla and Google and blah blah and blah. It's got to be that, and it's got to.
Tesla moves in. I'm sure other people will too.
Yeah,
Amazon.
A lot of people will.
Amazon, yeah. Yep.
So.
But I
mean,
wait, go ahead, Sean. You got something?
No, I was just saying there's a future. We'll figure it out.
Right.
There's always a future. You can be sure of that.
There's that glass half full right there. No.
Always. Always. Well, thanks. I appreciate you guys inviting me on. It's nice to be invited to not just talk about Lego the whole time.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
all
Yeah,
about the
you
bricks.
should have listened to the
Thank you.
beginnings of this podcast when we first came out. We were talking about politics and people hated it.
Yeah. Taking it up.
That's well, I'm sure it was topical.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta stay topical.
Was
It was
it?
relevant at the time because it was all the election stuff.
Yeah.
That's topical. I did a draw stream. It was all politics. I was like, I have to. I can't not do it. I can't not do it. I was so scared. I was like, this is gonna be terrible. And I had my mom. I usually have somebody on the stream with me just to help moderate things and make sure things aren't too crazy. I'm like, be extra vigilant today. I'm like, be on the lookout. But I mean, we did a lot of safe things. Like I was like, oh, Statue of Liberty, Mount Rushmore, a voting booth.
Oh, bull guy that raided the Capitol building.
No, you know what? Well, we ran out of time. But I did like the spiciest I got was I did a Biden and Trump like almost like a boxing poster, like they were facing each other. And now I was already like, okay, let's finish. It's like we gotta let's kill it.
Thank you guys for listening.
But it felt like you have, you can't ignore a certain thing. Like, all right, this is happening. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's draw. But
There you go. Spicy.
But yeah,
spicy
I definitely
noodles.
appreciate the invite. Thanks for having me on and allowing me to promote the stuff and chit chat about life.
Yes, appreciate you coming in and chit chatting with us.
Thank you.
And if anybody missed it, Friday mornings you can catch those doodle streams.
Every Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. I know that doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me, and I host it.
Eastern. What's
So
that?
That's like when
What
we
is-
wake up.
It's a little early.
That's what I do. I catch yours in the morning. I'm still half asleep.
Yeah, as I'm getting
not
ready
gonna
for work,
type anything.
or as I'm driving.
It's
I
gonna
don't
look
wanna-
weird. It's gonna come out all.
Is he okay? What is he typing?
Ban that guy. Just ban him.
Ban him.
But yeah, that's about it. Remember next week it's gonna be on Claire's channel. I got that right in the beginning. Whoop whoop.
Whoop.
And other than that, be easy.
Cue that music.
This is the way.
All right, and cutscene. It's over. And broadcast. Luna just pulled out all the drawers, like poured Lego all over the floor.